All right, welcome back, everybody. SPX 2024. I'm Rusty.
I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, and with us?
Well, who's this?
My name is Christopher Williams.
Chris, welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome to have you.
How's SPX treating you?
Yeah.
It's been great. I've been really happy to be here. This is the first one that I've done, and it's just been terrific.
Oh, so is this your first time at the show overall?
I came once before, but it was, I think, in 2002.
Okay, yeah.
So
a
it's
little bit ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
Awesome. So what brings you to SPX?
I've been doing sequential art now for I think about 5 years, amassed like about 10 or 12 graphic novels in that time, and
Wow.
and a bunch of zines and mini comics, and so yeah.
Very cool.
Tell us about the book that you brought with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is recent history. This is the most recent graphic novel that I done, and it's about a guy traveling through the U.S. During the last week of 1999, and he's kind of documenting motels that are declining or fading, but he's sort of documenting it all for a reason, to try and hold on to part of the past. So
Interesting.
It's a big endeavor.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Like it's not usually a successful one either. You're doing your best.
yeah,
You're trying to hold on to the past.
yeah.
So what made you want to tell this type of story?
It actually started during lockdown. I was doing some traveling, and I'm passing like roadside motels and that sort of thing, and I thought about actually documenting it myself, and then kind of realized that would be a pretty big endeavor, and also a very costly endeavor.
Yes.
So yeah, I put that at the back of my mind for a while, and then as I started to come up with the idea of this character Simon and certain things from his life, then I found a way to kind of pull that idea back in and put him in my place. So
It's funny, like when people talk about, especially when they're doing comics that are stories, when comparing to like other media, like TV or movies. It's like comics are like doing movies with no budget, like
Right, yeah.
unlimited budget,
Yes.
basically. And so that's a perfect example. It's
Yeah.
like I'd love to do a road trip. Can't really afford a road trip across the entire United States.
No.
But in a comic, absolutely.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
There's not as much wind in your hair on this type of road trip, though.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you set a
Unless
fan up.
You can set a fan up.
Yes,
I was thinking it. So this is your first time at SPX?
Yeah.
Is
first
this
time
your
table.
First time table.
First
First
time,
time
right,
table,
yeah. Is this your first comics work?
No. This is actually what is this? This is the 54th book that I put out, either graphic novel, zine, or mini comic.
Wow.
So
So
Impressive spread.
we have been doing these interviews since 2011, a handful every year, and about 10 to 15. And I did the math ahead of this weekend, and I found out we were going to hit our 200th interview this weekend. But I did that because it's easy. YouTube just keeps track of how many videos I have. The fact that you know exactly which printed material this is in the
That was
sequence
impressive when you just pulled
is
that number.
really remarkable. And I was just really impressed by that.
Yeah.
What made you want to keep track of it in such a way?
So I do it under my imprint, I guess, is Plastic Flame Press, and it's what I used. I've been a screen printer for about 20 years now, doing gig posters, and so that was always my studio name. So when I started making books, I just decided to carry that over, and so yeah, as I started making the books books were concentrated on sequential art. I'm very impatient, so it's even though I wanted to make comics when I was very, very young, it took me until I was about 40 years old to actually be able to concentrate and do it. But it became an extension of or a way for me to process and deal with my depression. and being able to like get it out on the page. And so, yeah, when I finished the first book, and I was pretty proud that I was able to finish one book, and so I figured I would put a number on that, and then after that it was like, well, you know, if I put a number on one, I can't just put a number on one.
Yeah,
I gotta.
it's setting a precedent. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The first number really doesn't have any importance unless there's more than that.
Exactly.
You don't use a 1 unless you plan on a 2, basically.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a really good point. I like that idea. That's good.
Thank you. Well,
So you've done it for how long has that been for you?
So I started making sequential stuff in, I think, late 2018. I think 2019 was when I first had my first books together.
Did your work as like a poster artist? How do you think it affected your sequential? Because it's a very different muscle.
Yeah. So. I with my poster work, what I would try to do, because I would get in being impatient and not wanting to have to draw the same character over and over and over again. What I found that I would try to do with my poster work was to sort of tell a story with only one panel, and so essentially like trying to make it kind of like a splash page.
I was just thinking the same terminology. Yeah.
So then. I had kind of transferring that over to kind of expanding out like what maybe like the story would be in that one poster.
Interesting. And I can see that where trying to tell like a story with a single image, and then you're just kind of like expanding it bit by bit, Suddenly it's 2 panels, 3 panels, same story.
Yeah.
But just finding like how many beats you need to pull out of that image to do. That's a really interesting approach.
Yeah, and it's fun too with the like being able to kind of see it as like a single image, or like what I can pack into a single image, but like you said, to kind of parse it out and see how I can. I love being able to play with the like the passage of time with the panels and like spreading across pages and stuff.
We were just talking with a friend about basically the idea of constructive criticism from like another artist or contemporary, and how it can be awkward, and specifically in a case where they had an artist that they loved their just still images, their like their one piece they would toss off, but they thought they had really bad pacing, and it was like it's really so hard to give feedback on that because it's so nebulous,
right?
Yeah,
and it really kind of enters into a lot of what do they want it to be?
Yeah,
because like without that I can't really say whether it's good. I just know it's not resonating.
Yeah.
And so it's funny that's a thing you had to kind of incorporate. If you're trying to take this single image story and break it out, you now start adding in pauses and speed ups and all that to make it work.
Yeah, and it's something that I'm like when I'm thumbnailing the pages, that I'm being like very deliberate about, because I want to make sure that it does have that like a solid pacing to it, that it doesn't drag too much, or that that maybe the action isn't happening too fast or something.
Right.
That there's an appropriate build up to it. And
yeah, I think that in this case there were like things that just happened too fast.
Yeah, you don't want to rush things, you don't want to drag things.
They both didn't leave an impact, but they also didn't have the appropriate importance because you just rushed to that moment.
Right. And yeah, that's the thing. You have to have those beats to kind of build up, or it's really anticlimactic to
the same moments, but just with none of the massaging to make them significant. Now, we kind of talked a little bit about how your gig work turned into comics and what you've learned, but have you continued to do gig posters?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Has the sequential work somehow influenced that going backwards?
I thought that's a really good question. Somewhat, in that I've found that with a lot of the gig poster work that I've done since starting the sequential work, has more kind of strayed from what I was doing before. So it's more like I'll incorporate more sort of abstract stuff into it, and so it's less. It looks less like a comic than it might have before.
That's almost funny. Yeah, you started out as a version of a comic, but now that you're actually doing sequential work, you're like, no, maybe that's not what I want now
Yeah,
from
yeah.
you.
Like you're scratching the comic itch with actual comics now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
So do you have plans for the next 55 printed materials?
I have some plans for the next couple.
Okay.
But I was telling my son the other day that it's like, well, I'm going to SPX, and I feel like I haven't really done anything recently, and it's like, well, when did you put out the last book? I was like, well, I got it back from the printer in August. And it's like, yeah, and what have you done since then? I was like, well, I only made 2 zines.
It's like,
and it's like, but didn't you do something else? I was like, oh, I also put together like a 40-page anthology. So I guess maybe but I.
This kid sounds vital to your mental health.
He's a big help. Yeah.
it is funny to think, like, because it's like, God, I haven't put anything out since August. And it was like last month.
That's right.
Yeah.
Think about that part.
Like, geez.
But it's really important to have somebody outside of the tornado.
Yeah.
That can kind of just say, no, I mean, you did these things.
Yeah.
Because to you just kind of move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like, once it's done, that's great, but I got this other thing that's undone. And that's what I'm looking at now.
Right. But he is also 16, so at the end of it, he did reassure me. He's like, yeah, you're doing absolutely nothing. And
Oh, that's like,
yeah.
I was going to say, so he has the wisdom, but probably far too much, more than he actually has.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, Sage One, I got this. I can help you. And then he starts giving you some terrible advice.
Yeah.
So you mentioned with an anthology, are you working with other creators? Or is
It's mainly just it started out as something that I think eventually I would like to have other creators in on it, and I've contacted a couple people, but it sort of I like in between the longer works that I do, then I'll usually do some shorter stories.
Okay, yeah.
And so this kind of became it. It was going to be, I was going to put 1 story in it, and then I drew 2 stories, and then I drew a 3rd story, and so it's like, well, it's mainly me now, but
Right.
So yeah, it's hopefully to include other people.
Interesting. Yeah, and those are always a good place for those little pieces that don't necessarily fit, as a whole book.
Yeah.
Just a place to combine everything together.
Yeah, and I find that the shorter pieces are also really good for me to kind of I don't know, express things in a different way, maybe change up the style a little bit. And
I guess it would also help ensure that the idea gets made.
exactly.
Because you don't have to worry about whether it fits in a long form thing or is it going to be this. If it just sits in a book amongst other stories, you don't really have to worry too much about where it fits.
Right, and it's stuff too that I try not to, like a lot of the stuff that I've written about, it deals with depression, trauma, and things like that. But I try not to necessarily tread the same ground. But with the shorter stories, I feel like if I want to come back and maybe expand on that, then I feel that I'm allowed to do that. I allow myself to do it.
You're allowed.
Yeah.
No one's going to
Okay.
forbid you from this.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe your 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Maybe like, no, I do think it's a bad
Sorry, Dad, no.
business plan here. That's not what we should be doing at this point in your creative juncture. Before we let you go, would you like to answer our mystery question?
Oh yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Sweet.
Let's bring in the mystery machine of mystery questions. And let's bring in the little quarter tuck.
Little quarter truck.
It has the quarter with which you can unlock your mystery question.
All right. I don't know why I'm worried that I'm going to do this wrong.
Yes.
You can't do it wronger than last year when we accidentally dropped it off the table.
That was exciting.
That you can or
Yeah.
this year when Rusty almost headbutted it
Twice.
a couple times. Christopher, what is your mystery question?
Please show us a cool new way to wave.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've been talking about this for years now, and we've
Yeah.
just waited for this question to come out of the machine. We need a new greeting.
We're in a rut for waves. We need a new wave.
It doesn't have to involve your whole hand.
Yeah,
It can be like a little gesture.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it doesn't have to be a full-on wave with,
Could even be a nod of sorts.
Oh, a nod would be
Yeah.
really nice. It would save my arm so much use.
I mean, I kind of like the like.
Now, do you have to be wearing
the
a hat?
Well, so that's the thing. Like, I'll sometimes do it without a hat
Yeah.
on, but then it looks kind of
So
strange.
I think what we should do is the three of us. Two of us are wearing head adornments. We will try this new wave, and we'll see if it works for one of us. Oh, look at that. That worked. I like that. Oh, no, Rusty, you look foolish. Oh, now see, oh, look
Solid,
at that.
yeah.
Now I felt welcomed. But you, I just felt like you're just putting on a show.
Although, you know what? He has
Could you like just tip your whole brow?
he has a dedicated brim for tipping.
Yeah, yeah, and
What-
I still made mine work.
Yeah, but you kinda
I just
did.
gr-
I mean,
no, everybody's
right.
saying I did a good job.
Well, you know what?
Oh, there you go with the glasses.
As
yeah.
someone who just joined the glasses community 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, that was great. Oh,
Boom.
You can just pull it on a
It's still-
command?
yeah, just like nothing. It's
Oh,
easy.
wow.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I've never had glasses.
Those are some strong frames out of the gate.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy
Once he was like, I gotta wear glasses, he was like, I'm getting some
I'm getting some
frames.
cool ass glasses at least, yeah.
Yours are really nice.
Oh,
They
thank you,
are
thank
actually. I
you.
like that color
I
a lot.
think you would look really good in a pair like that.
I swear.
I'm not
I've
asking
heard-
for it.
As soon as
No.
as soon as you sat down, I was like, I like that blue. I might have to get some of those. That's good.
That's like when somebody has something, food that you think looks good, and you're like, I want to say that, but they're going to feel like I'm asking for food.
Yeah, yeah.
This is so much pressure.
Like, I don't need to take your glasses. I'm just saying they're good. Like,
Well, also, you put on someone else's glasses and you can't even see how you look.
oh, honestly,
And
yeah.
so,
A buddy of mine, when I first got these, he was like, here, try mine. And I was like, oh, Jesus, okay.
When he first got his, he was like,
yeah.
why don't you try them on? And I almost threw up.
He did.
It's not even that they're that strong. I mean, they may or may not be.
just
But it was
weird.
the shift.
Right.
I felt
Yeah.
like I was now looking through a magnifying scope while on a roller coaster. It was unfortunate.
It was so immediate, too, because he was like, oh, no. Oh, no. We're not doing that again.
I don't like this feeling at all. I'd rather be blind. And then I was struck blind. So
So,
one thing
so the new greeting is
Yeah.
to tip whatever you have. You know what?
Tip whatever you
Glasses,
have?
Glasses, hat,
Oh.
whatever you got.
I like that. I like that's very broad, but also inclusive.
Yes.
For some people that just choose not to wear a fun head adornment.
Yeah, you know, whatever you got.
Where can people find out about your work online?
My website is plasticflame.com, and through there you can get to all my books and my gig posters as well.
Fantastic.
And also to my Instagram, which I usually try to keep updated like daily with new pages that I've been working on.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
That's
We've
fine.
been doing this for a while now, and we've added a new feature for this year's set of interviews, and that would be the prize gallery behind us.
Oh, nice.
So in this prize gallery are a multitude of prizes, one of which can be yours.
All right.
Amongst the prizes, we have a set of 4 coasters. We have a pot holder.
Pot holder.
Not a handle.
Yeah.
We have a deck of playing cards. We have a placemat, a puzzle, a tea towel, a blanket far too big to unfurl on camera. We have a pillow. We have a keepsake box in which you can keep your
sakes in there.
your sakes in there. We have a ceramic mug, and we have a shopping bag. Christopher, which prize would you want to be yours?
Could I do the pillow?
Absolutely.
Oh no, absolutely, you can do the pillow.
Yes.
We
Okay.
have more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
no,
not taking the only pillow. The other person who took a pillow so far, that was their. Can I have the pillow?
Like, I don't want to take the pillow.
I don't want to take a cornerstone of your display here because it's right in the back and it's bigger than most things. No, take the pillow.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, yeah.
Fantastic. Christopher, enjoy your prize.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. And thank you for joining us. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sitting with us, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Yeah. You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.